Welcome to our June edition of Let's Get Growing. Man, is it heating up in the landscape. So, let's get growing. Now remember, in June we're still going to be mowing once a week, and as the temperatures raise, you're going to raise the height of your mower, and that's going to allow the grass to shade the ground and also allow the roots to grow deeper and suck up the moisture. And we're going to plant from seed all of these plants that you see on the list. There's no need to go out and buy them when you can plant them from seed. So buy you a $1.89 package of seeds, spread it out on the ground, keep it constantly wet for 7 to 14 days. Probably in 3 or 4 days you're going to see them popping up. One other thing that you're going to want to plant in June are those Easter lily bulbs that you got for Easter. Soak, don't sprinkle. But you can water those dry spots by hand in your annuals and all those newly planted areas. Another good idea is water before you plant and then water after you plant. Remember, we want to mulch all those newly planted areas, any bare spots you see in the yard, and also the roses, but pull it away from the trunk of the roses and also away from the trunk of your trees, and never have it more than 3 to 4 inches around your trees. Be careful when you're pruning, and we only want to take out dead and diseased wood, because if you start major pruning, you're going to allow the bark on the trees or your plants to sunburn just like we do. And when they sun scald, then the bark will bubble up and pop off, and then you have an entryway for insects and disease. You'll want to do the second major fertilization of your lawn areas, and remember to use a 3-1-2 ratio, and that's the 3 numbers on the fertilizer label: 15, 5, 10, 21, 7, 14. But the most important thing is sulfur. Now then, you can also fertilize all your planting areas except for those of us that are lucky enough to have azaleas and camellias. We're going to hold off on those. In addition, you can fertilize your mums and pinch out the top so that we'll have nice bushy plants that'll stand up. And there's several things that you're going to watch for. Powdery mildew on your crepe myrtles, your roses, and your photinia. We want to watch for chinch bugs, particularly on the St. Augustine, and you'll know because they crawl across the top of the ground and they eat the stolons, not the rhizomes. And unfortunately, we're going to have to watch for the second generation of all insects. And you can always treat with just a strong stream of water to start out with, and that'll wash them off the plant and they fall prey to their predators. And don't forget, we need to feed the birds. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is an office plant, and as you can see, we have compacted the soil over the years. It's been in this pot, and this came from a funeral of one of our office employees' mother when she passed, and she's really sentimental about it, and so we want to save it because it's drying out once a week and wilting way down. And it's also resulting in these brown tips that you see. So we're going to repot one back into this container, and then we're going to split it up into 2 more containers. So let's start out by removing this plant from its container. Now then, we're going to decide where to split it. And the plant kind of tells you where it wants to go. You can see this separation. We're going to kind of comb the roots down. And then we're going to come around with this hand trowel and gently separate. And as you can see, we have several little babies that are in here also. But you can see that this was the original mother plant, And you can see how many leaves we've lost off of this. So it's very important that we repot it as soon as possible. So we're going to have to penetrate the root system one more time with our hand trowel. It's all right for us to use the soil that has come out of the container. But first thing that you're going to do is add some soil to the bottom of the container. We may need just a little bit more. And as you can see, this soil is moist. We want to make sure that we're using a moist soil, not a dry soil. Now then, we're going to take all of these, even though they've been separated, we can still put them all together into a group, put their roots into the container, and make sure that the roots are all about the same height. Stand this little baby back up. Settle the soil in around the plant in the container. More soil. And then we dissipate it around the plant. Remember that we've put a little bit of soil in the bottom of the container. And as you can see, this one's going to get planted just a little bit deeper. We want to make sure we get all the roots in. And then, once again, use a container to add our soil. And then we're going to evenly distribute. And remember, I'm using 4 fingers spread out to dissipate the soil. And now we have plant number 2. And we're off to the races on our last one. This one, once again, soil. And then lean it back to the other side, making sure that we have it thoroughly covered. I'm using all the soil that came out of the first container, along with the soil from the new bag, which gives us a beautiful finished product. Also, made 3 beautiful plants from one auspicious plant. As you can see, there's many things to be doing in the landscape in June, so stay on top of it and grow on.